Here are some tricks that really helped me that I would like to share with you. Preparation is a fundamental part of soap making. Start by choosing a soap recipe and always run it through a soap calculator. The Brambleberry Lye calculator is great and you can resize a soap batch according to your needs. If you don't have a specific oil called for in a recipe, you can replace it by using the soap calculator to recalculate the entire soap recipe. Keep in mind to replace hard oils with hard oils and soft oils with soft oils. Once you have a clear idea what recipe and ingredients you want to use, prepare everything on your soaping table to avoid forgetting things. One soap maker even mentioned placing the fragrance oil inside her mold, so she won't forget adding it. I like to start out preparing the lye solution so it can cool down while I'm preparing all other ingredients, including colorants and fragrance. Colorants are an important part of soap making, and there are different types of colorants. While micas and liquid colorants can be added directly to your soap batter, for pigments it is important to premix it with some oil before adding it to the soap. That way you will be able to incorporate it well. You can use a mini mixer if needed to get a smooth and clump-free mixture. There are two types of titanium dioxide. One is water-soluble and the other one is oil-soluble. Choose the one that works best for you. I like to add the color step by step, rather than ending up with a very vibrant result where you can't take back the color. It's very smart to test a colorant you have never used before on a small batch. Same applies for fragrances, by the way, so you can see its discoloration. I like to transfer micas and pigments in clear jars and organized by colors for a faster workflow. While for glitter, I find it practical to keep it in salt and pepper shakers or such spray bottles for easy use. Fragrances are amazing, but there are a couple of things you should know about. Florals typically accelerate your trace and therefore you should soap at room temperature and be ready to move quickly. Fragrances containing vanillin, like vanilla and chocolate type of sweet fragrances, discolor your soap quite considerably. Therefore, plan your soap design to become very dark. You can usually tell by the color of the fragrance oil if it will discolor your soap. Here are some examples of dark fragrances and how the respective soaps turned out. There is no other colorant in both soaps, by the way. Here is a relatively clear fragrance oil and an example of the soap that didn't discolor at all. To be really sure, you can check out the website of your fragrance oil supplier and verify the vanilla content of that specific fragrance oil. Always measure out fragrance oils in glass containers. This is because undiluted fragrances will cause plastic to dissolve. I typically add the fragrance oil after I color the soap, and I only mix it in by hand, using a spatula. This way, the trace will not accelerate too much. Add your lye solution to the oils when about at the same temperature and not more than about 10 degrees apart. Aim for a low temperature when you are soaping with fragrance oils that are known to accelerate, like for example florals. Likewise, when you need to add glaze or other additives to the soap batter, it's better to soap cool as well. If you are planning to pipe, on the other hand, you can increase the temperature to 65 degrees Celsius to reach piping consistency quickly. If you are in a hurry or you don't have an infrared thermometer at hand, you could use the heat transfer method, where the heat of the lye is used to melt down the hard oils. A separate video on this method is available here on my channel and I will link it down in the description. Here are some of my favorite tools. I like to place a cutting board or a tray underneath my mold so I can easily move the project around if I need the space for something else. I always keep a spatula rest on my soaping table so I can comfortably place spoons and spatulas on it without interrupting my workflow. Kitchen rolls in such dispenser are very practical for easy use. I like to keep my recipes at hand in such a display, organized by themes and laminated so they don't get dirty. The members of my Buy Me a Coffee page have free access to these recipe cards and can download them and print them out for their own use. I had the best experience mixing powders like glaze and oatmeal into the oils before adding the lye to it. That way you can use the stick blender to incorporate the powders well without having to bother about acceleration. Activated charcoal also dispersed well when added to the essential oil you plan to use beforehand. This also avoids the charcoal being too volatile. When soaping with milks, there are different ways to go about. One is to replace the water amount by 100%, freezing the entire liquid amount as milk and then adding the lye slowly to the milk once frozen until fully dissolved. Some soap makers just use refrigerated milk and have good results. Another way is to use a high percentage of liquid oils in your recipe and soap as cool as you can. Replacing a portion of the water with milks and adding it later at trace. Because the lye solution is very concentrated, it's wise to use a strainer when adding it to the oils to avoid undissolved lye getting into the mixture. When adding alcohols to the soap, I boil out the alcohol as a first step. Then I let it completely cool. I weigh out the amount I need to add that I reduced from the water amount in the lye solution and add it at trace. Remember to soap very cool and be prepared to move really fast. Increasing the liquid oil percentage in your recipe helps. When adding carbonated alcohol beverages like beer, you would need to additionally flatten it by letting it sit for a couple of days before boiling out the alcohol. Links on the videos going into details about these subjects are linked down in the description as well. Sodium lactate makes the soap hard and helps with unmolding faster and cleaner. It also gives the soap a shiny look. You can stretch the mold around the soap to determine if the soap is ready to release, and if you see that the soap is still sticky, just leave it longer until it is hard enough. When soap is poured at thin trays or low temperature, and especially in single silicone cavity molds, it tends to need longer to harden completely. I just leave it 5 to 7 days before even trying to unmold. Once the soap is really ready, it will come out super crisp and smooth. After soaping, I don't even try to clean my jugs and spatulas. I just let it sit for 24 hours. The batter will saponify and become soap, and it will be then easy to clean with hot water and dish soap. Let your soap cure as long as possible. The longer it sits and the harder it gets. Place a dehumidifier next to your curing rack. It will help to get rid of the moisture. A must, especially during summer or rain seasons. There are different types of dehumidifiers, the electric ones and the non-electrical disposable ones as well. For stamping, I wait until the soap is hard enough to leave a crisp impression in the soap. If you are not sure, you can test out the stamping on a sample size soap first. And now, a very special announcement. I'm very happy to announce that my recipe book is now available. It contains 20 different types of skincare recipes and soap making projects that are easy to make in the comfort of your own home, including step-by-step instructions of the making. This book is now available on Amazon, both in the US and in Europe as well. You will find the link in the description. Let me know if you found this video helpful. I certainly hope so. If you're interested in more soap making related videos, you can check out the playlist on the screen. Feel free to subscribe and see you very soon. Bye bye!